This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for June 20th, 2024. Your daily music headlines, industry info, and everything rock. Although Liam Gallagher previously revealed that his brother and former Oasis bandmate Noel Gallagher turned down the opportunity to reunite for a tour celebrating the 30th anniversary of their album Definitely Maybe, according to Stereo Gum, Liam Gallagher recently confirmed that he saves a seat for Noel at each of the shows on his solo Definitely Maybe 30 Years tour, making the admission after a musician named Simon Love posted a photo of a sign placed on a seat in front of theirs that said, quote, reserved Noel Gallagher. A sequel to the beloved 1987 film Spaceballs is in the works, being produced by Mel Brooks. According to Variety, the film is going to star Josh Gad, and Amazon MGM Studios is going to release the film directed by Josh Greenbaum. The Beastie Boys have annotated the classic Sabotage video from Ill Communication for its 30th anniversary. The clip, which is part of Vevo's Footnotes series, is packed with facts about the classic Spike Jonze directed video. The concept was finally implemented for the Sabotage video when Spike Jonze arrived at a photo shoot wearing a wig and a fake mustache. The video was filmed by a crew small enough to all fit in one van so that they could film without permits. Ill Communication was originally released May 31st, 1994, and as part of the album's 30th anniversary, the band pressed a new special vinyl reissue similar to a rare version originally released as a limited run in 2009. The new 3LP set includes 12 bonus tracks, including rarities, remixes, and live recordings. Former Deep Purple bassist and singer Glenn Hughes has slammed the band's three longest-standing members, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, and Ian Pace. In a new interview with Guitar Interactive magazine, he's asked about his memories of Deep Purple's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2016, saying, quote, I will never speak to any of them again simply because they were rude. Both Roger, Ian, and Gillan were rude to David Coverdale and I. Very, very hurtful. I didn't give a fuck, actually, because I knew they were rude to begin with. I was the only sober man there. I don't care about those guys. Gillan was rude to me on stage accepting the award. I went to congratulate him. He looked at me with eyes like I didn't exist. The guy has a problem with me, period. I'll let him run with it. I feel bad for him. I'm really sorry about his wife, Braun, dying in 2022. I've tried to reach out to him. He doesn't want to know. At the world premiere of Ghost's debut film, Right Here, Right Now on June 18th in London, Tobias Forge told Rock Sound, quote, as any semi-gargantuan task, as fun as it is, it's also draining. I'm used to working towards deadlines, but filmmaking is definitely a lot. You can release records into the society and people will buy it or not, whereas tickets you have to sell to. Cinemas are a little bit like venues, so you can't just release a film or a movie like that in a week. If you don't deliver it on time, it would be delayed like months. So we've been sort of zoning in on this date, basically today, for the last 9 months. It feels like such a giant relief because at points during the making of the film, there was definitely a sense of urgency, especially for everyone who had to answer to someone, which I guess I had to too. Slash is suggesting that Guns N' Roses will have a busy 2025. Slash is out on the road supporting his Orgy of the Damned Blues album with the Serpents Festival. Duff McKagan has announced a U.S. solo tour. Axl Rose is collaborating on the new Michael Schenker album. Slash saying, I'm going into the studio with the Conspirators, getting a new record done, and after that, 2025 is all about Guns N' Roses. We're trying to get some things going with that. I think there's a small tour in the summertime next year. I heard a rumor about it anyway. So that's going to be focused on. But prior to that, it's the Serpent Tour and then with the Conspirators. The toxicology reports that surfaced after Scott Weiland's 2015 death determined that he had died from an accidental overdose. But his widow has disputed that claim during a recent appearance on the Appetite for Distortion podcast. saying, quote, "I feel like when he died, everybody was kind of like, that's tragic, but of course he overdosed, which he didn't fucking do," which I tried to get that point across. He didn't because he had drugs in his system. The coroner had to rule it an overdose. The truth is, Scott died because the main artery in his left ventricle was 95% blocked. That came from 10 years of heroin use. That came from an entire adult life of chain smoking. His heart stopped. Did he have trace amounts of drugs in his system? He did. Did I know he was using? No, I didn't, because he lied to me, because I had caught him before, and it would always be this huge fight, and I would be furious with him. She continued, "I remember even talking to the coroner in Minnesota when everything happened and saying, how could he lie to me about this again? The coroner was so kind, and he said, I just really didn't want to disappoint you. But yeah, I really want to clear it up that it was not an overdose. It was not. He was not using heroin. He did not overdose on drugs. His heart stopped because his heart had been through so much abuse because of prior drug use in this life and smoking and heavy drinking." Following the official announcement of his exit from Lacuna Coil yesterday, guitarist Diego Cavallati issued a statement on his own regarding his split and his plans for the future, saying in part, "Yes, I am no longer part of Lacuna Coil, although this decision is not the result of my dissatisfaction or desire to explore new opportunities. I have serenely decided to accept it in consideration of the almost 10 wonderful years that we spent together, playing around the world, and to allow the band to continue its course without me." In a recent interview with Total Rock, guitarist Tom Morello talked about his upcoming solo single, Soldier in the Army of Love, set for release on June 28th. The song was co-written on the guitar with his, quote, wizard son, Roman Morello. Tom describes the song as a, quote, generational rock anthem from the Morellos. Soldier in the Army of Love is the first single from Tom's first ever full-length solo rock album due later this year. Saying about his son, "His riffs are heavier than mine, and I've been relegated to the rhythm guitar player status in the family. So we did this song, Soldier in the Army of Love, together, and it's so rocking, it's sort of the genesis of this whole idea." Bassist Michael Anthony is once again teasing the existence of a catalog unreleased by Van Halen, which would include some never-before-heard solos from Eddie Van Halen. Saying, quote, "There were quite a few songs that I was part of and worked on and written," he said. "Even a couple of things before the first Van Halen record and the early part of Van Halen that was actually restructured. It was used on the A Different Kind of Truth album that they put out." Michael Anthony saying Eddie Van Halen recorded every idea that he had while he was in the studio, and it's all sitting in boxes of tapes just waiting to be unearthed. He continued that he hopes Wolfgang Van Halen goes through all the ideas. Queen have reportedly reached a deal with Sony Music for the acquisition of their music catalog and more, which has been in the works for some time. According to Variety, sources with information on the deal have confirmed that Sony is now in the process of acquiring Queen's back catalog along with the merchandising and other business opportunities. The source to Variety claims the selling price was $1.27 billion, making it the biggest acquisition of its kind ever. According to the company filings, Queen's surviving members Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon, and the estate of late frontman Freddie Mercury are all equal shareholders in Queen Productions Limited and reported revenues of $52 million in 2022. In celebration of Evanescence's debut album, Fallen, turning 20 years old, the band's founding guitarist, Ben Moody, has reimagined songs from the album and is in the process of uploading the results to his YouTube channel. And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 211, featuring Morgan Lander from Kitty, is available now.